Welcome to Applied Technology Podcast. Talking technology, you're talking applied. Hello and welcome to another ATG Podcast. We're so excited for you guys to join us today. Today, we're on the topic of licensed microwave. So without further ado, Jeff, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and what you do for the company?
All right. Hello, I am Jeff. I've been with the company since its beginning and before. So it's been a long, fun road. Currently, take care of everything, pretty much, of cleaning the toilets, fixing the toilets, doing
Very
the
important.
doing the grunt work as well as the microwave. We do a lot of point-to-point microwave and unlicensed, licensed microwave, licensed radio, and working with the clients in that realm of what they are needing for their application.
Hello. Yeah, my name is Jacob. I'm a system engineer here. I mostly work towards the IT side. I do consultation and project management for SCADA systems primarily. So I work actually kind of hand in hand with Jeff in some of those systems he was talking about for licensed, unlicensed radios. We'll do anything as far as the wireless networking goes, and we'll also do wired networking. We'll program routers, switches, you name it, front to back, we'll take care of it.
And you've been here for a minute, no?
Yeah, 6 years now.
Yeah. And so far, I mean, because there's people that have been here for a year, there's people who have been here for 30 years, but the same passion, care, and dedication that they have for what they do and for the customers, I mean, it's something that I see at least in everyone, no matter how long they've been here, no?
Yeah, definitely.
So explain to us a little bit more, what is this concept of licensed microwave? It has nothing to do with popcorn, right?
Nothing to do with popcorn. Maybe if you had a high enough frequency, you could make some popcorn or something. Licensed microwave, and I'm sure Jeff will want to expand on this as well, but licensed microwave, you kind of have two options here. You have licensed and unlicensed. And you could think of unlicensed microwave as a radio system where it's kind of like the Wild West. You know, you don't need to purchase a license. You don't need to reserve it. You can kind of throw up a radio or two radios, and you can get them communicating without contacting the FCC, paying the money for your reservation. So it's nice because it's easier to deploy and typically faster. Now, license, on the other hand, you have to pay to kind of reserve your spot on the frequency. So there is a whole process that you need to go through for that. Now, fortunately, we can take care of that for you.
Nice.
So a little plug in there. So the nice thing about that is it is reserved for you, so nobody else should be on that frequency. You can reserve it. I think typically it's up to 10 years.
Yeah,
Is that
10
right,
years.
Jeff?
Right.
Yeah. So you really are counting on having your system set up for the long haul there. And hopefully nobody else is on it. And if they are on your frequency, you know, there are legal kind of repercussions there for getting them off of your frequency. So you really want to make sure it's yours. You paid for it. You have the right to it. So you have that stability that comes with running your own frequency.
Right. And Jeff, who would benefit from this service, or who typically uses this kind of service?
Well, the microwave in general, whether it's unlicensed or licensed, whether it's a licensed SCADA system or an unlicensed SCADA system, it's going to be your water districts, your municipalities, your businesses that have multiple offices. They might want a microwave link between two locations. Instead of putting in fiber, they go overhead and go microwave. Facilities that have multiple branches, again, we can build out a system, an extended network for that application. So whether you use unlicensed, we've had customers in the past, as technology has progressed, they started with unlicensed microwave. And the microwave, it's still just using a certain group of frequencies in a radio for a point-to-point application. So you're going from point A to point B. It's the dishes that you see on top of buildings or towers that are focusing the signal in a very small degree or propagation of that signal. Typically, it's a 2 degree, 1 degree, depending on the size of the antenna, to a receiving antenna on the other side. and all of your data is then being sent in between that. That is then based on what size channel you're operating on. Unlicensed, there's restrictions that you have to meet within the FCC in the open platform, if you will, that you can utilize those frequencies within their guidelines. Anybody can do that. So if you put up a unlicensed system today between point A to point B, someone puts one up right next to you, which they could interfere with that signal. Then you would have to go out and put a new channel in. And there's a group of frequencies within the unlicensed band. So you would just move your channel to a new location if it's not ingested or too much interference. So we're looking at interference in the unlicensed band to make a system work for longevity. In the licensed realm, and I'm looking more at the 11 gig, 18 gig licenses, there we're looking at asking the client, how much payload are you wanting to pass between? Is it 100 megs, 200, 1,000, 2 gig, 10 gig? They all have different characteristics. And based on what they bring to us, then we will design and develop a system for that criteria. And in a licensed realm, you choose the bandwidth that you're going to operate in, 20, 30, 40, 80 megahertz wide channels that the FCC has in their allocated list. You apply for one of those channels with the coordinator. Coordinator does the RF study to verify that there's no one else in the area that is using that frequency. Then that goes out, typically if you agree to the frequency that the coordinator has captured, it goes out for a 30-day or 45-day wait period as a public announcement that this is a new system that is going to be built. After that point, you can then build. So there's a time frame that has to take place when you build a licensed network.
Just to kind of certify everything.
Right. Over an unlicensed, like Jacob alluded, if you need a link between point A to point B today, and it's an emergency that you need to get it deployed, boom, we can do it, providing the criteria of land and everything else is in place.
Right.
Whereas if you wanted a licensed, a secure frequency that is registered to that client or to the holder of the license, only they are allowed to use that frequency between point A to point B. Someone coming in next to them cannot use that frequency on that because it would cause interference and degrade the performance of that link. And then the FCC has all of that in their records. The unlicensed world, they have licensed the equipment. It's up to the individuals to monitor their system and look for it. So it really goes to cost, a lot less expensive to do an unlicensed link. So you have the risk of other people coming in and disrupting that signal.
Because everyone wants the lower cost option.
Right, right. And then there's a lot lower cost equipment. Equipment operates different. Some are a tighter, have better receive sensitivity. They don't have as much front to back bleed over. Some radios that are inexpensive, instead of their signal going out forward, they also have bleed over in the back. So you've got all this interference that's coming out of the radio that is causing, if you have multiple locations or systems on the same tower, they could interfere with one another at that application. So there's a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot to go into, and it's sometimes it could be a bit, the listening ear may turn the channel, but don't turn the channel. Stay here.
How deep in this conversation do we want to go? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's just so much detail, so much.
There is.
You know.
You mentioned interference a couple times, and I wanted to talk about that as far as the interaction with throughput. How does interference affect throughput if you're using those unlicensed?
Say you've got an antenna on top of a mountaintop, and its range is far more than if it was built on a terrestrial ground level. And you could be interfering with another system that could be 200 miles away. So that gives you the ability to look at, okay, here's a license. XYZ is using it 200 miles or 150 miles away. We have a mountain range in between. However, we increased our antenna height. Now we are seeing into that other valley and gathering that noise and that interference. So
Right.
it gives you ability to work with that other client
Mhm.
to say, hey, can you either attenuate your signal or put in different antennas that we're, kind of dispersing your traffic in a different propagation of the antenna.
Right.
So a panel versus an omni antenna
Mhm.
directions. So there's a plethora of
Right.
directions in which we can go within the security. But I
Mhm.
think the main thing that Jacob was talking about was the security of data is
Mhm.
then protected within the radios and newer
Mhm.
product through
Exactly.
encryption keys and things of that nature, as well as putting firewalls in front of that data before it
Mhm.
reaches the equipment.
Mhm.
So there's a lot of security there at the network end of things, which we are willing and helpful to clients in bringing that security to them
Mhm.
to put that application in front of it.
So it's basically it's all breachable at the end of the day, but it would be much harder to do that if it's licensed or microwave because there's so much more to get through to even get to that point.
Correct.
Mhm.
It's the main thing with a licensed radio is that you have gone through the application and you have worked with the FCC to acquire
Mhm.
that channel.
Mhm.
That gives you the right to operate on that channel, which is security. Unlicensed, you
Mhm.
don't have that ability, so other people could come in with another system, operate right next to you,
Mhm.
and wipe you out. Now, in the 900 unlicensed realm, you're using frequencies from 902 to 928. So you are in the spread spectrum world, you're utilizing multiple channels within that
Mhm.
spectrum, and
Mhm.
your radio is changing rapidly.
Mhm.
And then depending on the size of the modulation that the radio is operating on,
Mhm.
that depicts the size of the channel, how much traffic is being sent through it. So it
Mhm.
all depicts on the area, the topology, the location of how dense the forest is, how open it is. If you're in the desert, we can do a lot different than
Mhm.
in the mountain ranges where you are
Right.
impacted by trees.
Mhm.
And
So-
having that technical knowledge and the ability to do the research and the surveys and put everything and get the math down, you leave that up to the experts, which is why you call us.
Yeah, that's the part that you
exactly.
guys don't have to worry about
Yeah.
because they got
That
you.
we'll take care of the headaches of how do we make this work? And
Yeah. If it all sounds like a lot, that's because it is.
Right.
But we've got it under control.
Yeah.
exactly.
Exactly. Gentlemen, thank you so much for taking your time and talk about this topic. Sometimes, customers just don't want to go through the hassle of calling and making all these questions. And so that's what I love about the podcast that we're offering now. It's that we can explain these things on this crazy, fast paced life that we live in. These podcasts are amazing because they provide that. So, gentlemen, thank you so much. Is there anything else you'd like to add for our customers to know?
Now, if you need help with your licenses, we can help.
Mhm.
We can help with the equipment and design a system for whatever need the client has.
Mhm.
So
Absolutely.
we're here to help.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys so much for joining me today. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you.